Hey everyone, Monica Michelle, Invisible Not Broken. It's been like a minute since I've done one of these little 10-minute hellos, so I thought I would I just finished writing this blog post and I thought I would kind of just talk about it for just a second because it just sort of happened this morning and I thought I'd get a little bit of stuff off my chest. And someone was so kind in the comments to mention that I talk too much during interviews and I should do just an episode just talking about me since I want to talk about me so much. So thank you. I took your advice. I'm doing this. So I kind of did a little post about how able-bodied people can treat disabled-bodied people better, differently. So, oh, by the way, the air conditioner, totally necessary for me to keep talking and sitting upright. We're in the middle of summer here and it is so freaking hot and my heart is having a temper tantrum, which we're going to get to. So I need to go car shopping because I need all the safety features. If you are disabled, you know it's super expensive to be disabled. I am beyond lucky and privileged to be able to kind of afford a car that will give me all of the safety features I need so that I can at least try to drive without putting the general populace at risk. And I went to go test drive some of them and to see if my wheelchair would fit in the back of the cars that would have the safety features I want, be in the price range I need to be, and I know there has to be more, fits my wheelchair. So it's like 100 degrees outside and I'm by myself, which I know I really shouldn't have been, but my husband's been working crazy hours and I really wanted to give him a break and I thought I could handle it by myself. Optimism, it'll bite you in the tail every time. And I am like pulling out my wheelchair, which is a Will CI, by the way. If you're curious, I'll put a link in the show notes. It's great, fantastic wheelchair, but each piece weighs about 20 pounds. So that's kind of intense. It's really hard to move. And the able-bodied sales guy is standing there watching me struggle, getting each piece out of my trunk. And yeah, you really need to see me like pretend to take it out of the trunk and put it into the other car and see if it, I could Jenga fit it. And he watches this the whole time, just standing there leaning against the car. And I don't think he was mean. He actually seemed to be a really nice guy. He just looked really uncomfortable with the whole situation. Not as uncomfortable as I was like popping shoulders and wrists and having heart issues, but he looked emotionally uncomfortable. So after I finished all this and then put all the pieces back in my car, he says, I really wanted to help you, but I was afraid I'd break something. I'm thinking, okay, well, bless. Bless your heart in all of the connotations of that. Really sweet that you might have wanted to help me. And to be fair, I hate it when people just jump in and help. Like, that really bugs me, especially if someone touches me or is pushing me. None of these things are good without asking me if I need the help first. But that's the point there, asking. If he had just said, like, at the beginning of this, hey, it looks like you're struggling, hurting. I'm a little nervous about like messing up your chair, but is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything I can do to make this easier for you? That would have been amazing. I could have explained stuff. I'm very used to explaining to people how to move it safely, or I could have even asked for like a glass of water. Now, to be fair, I could have done all this anyway. I could have asked him if he could help. I could have done all that. I'm not great at the asking for help stuff. But just from the able-bodied side, it could be nice just to say, hey, you look like you're struggling. Is there anything I can do to make this easier for you? Great way to phrase it. I'd appreciate it. That would be awesome. So I want to go into like a few other little things that I've had happen in the last, while. And one of my favorites was I'm going to pray over you. Now, whatever my religion is, it doesn't matter. Whatever your religion is, doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you find comfort and joy and it makes you feel better, it makes you a better person, a more compassionate, lovely person to the world, cheers. I am so thrilled for you. But to assume that I need to be prayed over, I find that problematic. And I'm just going to explain why. And you can be mad at me or whatever. But here's my off the top of my head. Number one, super uncomfortable, especially in the middle of Barnes and Noble, especially when my children are around, to have a stranger come up and start waving their hands over their mother and praying. Nice thought. Again, ask me first, please. That was really creepy. It was a problem. Number two, to pray over me is to assume that either number one, I've done something wrong with whatever God, goddess, spirit you are believing in, and they are punishing me, or you have a better relationship with that higher power than I do and can intercede on my behalf. Or three, that higher power, it's got a lot to do. Maybe you're its secretary and you're just reminding it, hey, you really messed up with that person's body. I just wanted to draw your attention. Maybe when you were putting things together, you could have remembered that the bones were supposed to stay in the joints. Hearts aren't supposed to just decide that the person should sleep when they're stressed or hot or randomly stand up. Step it up a little bit. Maybe that could help. It's weird to think that that person just has this assumption of why I'm disabled. And none of that has anything to do with my genetics or science or anything. The only reason that I am in this chair is because a higher power forgot, is mad, or I just don't have a close enough relationship. I really just have an issue with that. Now, people have asked to pray for me. Again, my religion doesn't matter. That's sweet. It really is. I mean, you can feel however you need to feel, especially, disabled people, if you have your own issues with this. No worries. This is just my opinion. When someone says they want to pray for me, I kind of read that as you care about me. You don't know how to make this better. And this is what you know to do to make things feel better. And that's sweet. That's lovely. Thank you. And I really appreciate when they ask if they can. I'm a sucker for anyone who is compassionate and kind. Not a sucker, it's a bad phrase for that, but I really resonate with kind, compassionate people. It seems like a kind and compassionate act. I'm in. That's awesome. So again, we're getting back to just ask people if they need this, want this. All right, we're gonna get to my pet peeve, cannot stand, drives me up a wall. The not looking where you're going. You able-bodied people, I'm so thrilled for you. You've got limbs that work. It's awesome. You have the incredible benefit and gift of being able to talk on a phone, hold an umbrella, and move forward. You can read a book. You can do anything with your hands and still keep moving. That can be problems for those of us who can't. In a wheelchair, I can't tell you how many people have almost fallen in my lap because they've been trying to take the perfect selfie and they keep backing up into my knees. There are people who just keep walking forward while looking at cell phones. I get it. Distracting world. We all want to stay up to date, I guess, but it's a problem and it's dangerous for me. I have had to turn my wheels into a wall. And when I say turn my wheels into the wall, it sounds nice. It was more like a 5 mile an hour, slightly slow crash into a wall. And that was because it was a child. And I will no longer move for anyone who is over the age of reason. Children, I will still take the crash. I'm a soft heart. I love kids. Animals, I will absolutely take the crash. No problem. But if you are a grown-up and you've got enough brain cells going, hopefully, just step out of my way. Believe me, it's so much easier for you to take a step or two to the left or to the right or to pay attention than for me to change my direction. That takes some thinking for me. It takes a little bit of maneuvering, of looking around me at all sides to make sure I don't hit anyone who wasn't expecting me to hit them. Just pay attention, move, and please don't end up falling in my lap. I'm not that friendly, especially when someone jumps in my lap. It's not cute. It's not a meet cute story. It's not adorable. Okay, another pet peeve. Please don't talk to the person who's with me if I'm in my wheelchair. They do not have a psychic connection with me. I promise I can answer any question you have for me. Do not ask the person who is with me how I'm feeling, how everything's going with me. I can answer all that. I have 10,000 listeners a month who can tell you I am very articulate and sassy and snappy, and that's good or bad, depending on who you ask or who's reviewing, but none of them will argue that I am silent. I have a very big mouth. I am perfectly happy to express my own opinions. So, asking me is great. My least favorite thing is the sigh, the wet eye, and the hand either on my shoulder, on my hand, or on my husband's shoulder or hand with the, she's so brave, inspiring, or I'm sorry. Any of these three drives me up a wall. It is so insulting to my entire life to just degrade my existence down to a platitude. I'm not sorry for my existence. Yes, my disability bites, but I live a really awesome full life. I'm generally pretty happy, and even when I'm depressed, I'd still rather be on this side of the ground. So it feels false. I mean, it really feels like you really have no idea who I am, and nor have you ever tried to get to know who I am to be like that. It just feels saccharine and insincere, and I don't do well with insincere. So that is my round out of the quick tips for how able people can treat disabled people. Number one, ask always before jumping in to help. The asking is super appreciated. Just whatever it is, whether it is thinking good thoughts, praying, moving us, helping out with anything, just ask first. Super awesome. Number two, look where you're going, please. So much easier for all of us. We can avoid so many more hospital bills that way. And just be genuine and talk to the person who's in a wheelchair. Most of us can at least express how we're feeling. I certainly can. Others will find a way. But it's just kind of weird to be sitting and having someone talking about you to the person who's the one who's standing. It just feels weird and awkward. So those are my hints. If you have any questions on how to treat disabled people, please put them in the comments. If you are disabled or you are a caregiver and you have some ideas, please put those comments on the bottom. I love that. If you want to listen to the podcast, we are Invisible Not Broken. I also do a blog that's invisiblenotbroken.com. And I always love feedback and ideas, so that's fantastic. I'm sorry, I always feel like I'm looking up to the side when I'm recording. I'm always recording on my iPad and the camera's that way, since I can't hold it in portrait without hurting myself. So I'm not giving you side eye, I promise. Thank you so much. Our tagline is be kind, be gentle, and be a badass. And I really mean the be kind lately. It's been kind of a rough world lately. So compassion is everything. You don't have to understand to have compassion for everyone. All right, have a great week. And I'm probably going to be back with a Doctor Who episode and how Doctor Who can help with depression and disability. I know, I'm a fangirl. There's nothing I can do about it. Have a great week, everyone.